So we do welcome all of you. This, of course, is the March desktop time. I'm the one that usually hosts this, and you can see I'm working from home also. We happen to be in the San Francisco Bay Area, which we're under a shelter-in-place order as of yesterday. So not a huge adjustment. We're all kind of used to working from home, but our little lonely office is down in South San Jose with no one in it. So that's why my rock wall isn't behind me now. That's my office back wall, kind of boring compared. I was telling Jeff he's got pictures, and these guys' walls are more interesting than mine. But anyways, we sincerely hope that for all of you, you're kind of going through the necessary adjustments and you know, taking this opportunity to maybe spend more time with family and friends. I'm not sure. But I do want to respect that, you know, it's definitely been a change for all of us, and I know for some it's been more impactful, just from the way you've either been receiving your income or working with loved ones or just in general. So do want to be respectful of that as well. So anyways, today we're very happy to have you here for the next some amount of time until 2 o'clock, I think, officially Pacific time. And we do have Jeff Edmonds here with us today, who's from Woodard, and he's going to be sharing about what he's doing now these days with Woodard. And we also have Mike Brown from AP Technology, who's here with us today. And so we're very grateful to have them here with us today. And as always, we have Allison. That's that picture down in the end, that cute young lady that never wants to show video, but she's always here doing the hard work in the background. So we have Allison with us as well. So anyways, I'm going to go ahead and introduce both of our esteemed guests again. As I mentioned, Jeff is our guest host today, and Jeff began his career in the financial industry in 1999 with Lacert tax software, most of you know, just after it was purchased by Intuit. As an Intuit account manager, Jeff is able to consult with both large and small accounting firms. He's also worked alongside pro advisors for almost 20 years. After leaving Intuit, Jeff worked for Mendelsohn Consulting and Business Development and for Activate and Channel Development. Jeff currently works and serves as the manager of partnership and strategic alliances for Woodard. So Jeff's passion by far is in training and development. Since his role at Intuit, Jeff has traveled to numerous conferences, speaking and training on leadership development, business development, and financial software products. And he's currently involved in helping to build the Woodard Institute, alongside a team of national and international trainers. And I think he's going to talk about something else today. I don't know how I left that out. And then we also are very fortunate to have Mike with us today. And Mike oversees legacy software sales for AP Technology's suite of payment solutions. He works as a member of the cross-departmental management team to develop and execute corporate objectives and strategies. In addition, Michael manages key accounts throughout the United States and Canada. His consultative, listening ability, and technology expertise ensure software users' success. And prior to AP Technology, Mike ran an executive search and staffing company, helping top employers hire highest performing finance and accounting professionals. And Mr. Brown earned a bachelor's in finance from the University of Florida, where he also enjoyed helping U.S. surf team win multiple NSSA competitions. So we won't talk about surfing today, but I think that's pretty stinking cool. So, and then always, Jeff has been a very good business friend for a long time. He's just a great advisor, great friend. So I'm excited to have Jeff with us again this month. So with that, I'm going to go ahead and just introduce you, Jeff, once again, and turn the floor over to you. Jeff, as our guest host, is going to be talking to us about what's going on with Woodard. So Jeff, take it away.
Thanks, Chris, and I'd say the same thing about you, especially over the last couple of years, going to do our Starbucks runs at Scaling New Heights, or another show that we may be at the same, going to the same time. So, yeah, I really enjoy that and always look forward to that, at least once a year. So, yeah, so, and thanks for having us. I think the last couple of times we talk about some products or something we're doing around the show, but actually what I want to do, I'm going to share my screen if I can now here. I'm going to talk about everything basically at Woodard. We call it affectionately Woodard World. That is not listed anywhere. There's no, you can't, I don't even know, I've never even Googled it, but we say that because there's several facets. People have known us, known Joe Woodard for a long time, and know us mainly for Scaling New Heights, our annual conference. But we do a lot more than that, and especially now with the evolution of the accounting industry. I can tell you right now, we're going through a huge one. We just had a webinar a couple hours ago, here, Joe put on a webinar, and it's amazing what companies are doing now with AI, with automation, to be able to scale your practice. Everything that's going on, there's a huge change going on in the industry. So I want to talk about that quickly, but then I'll just tell you, there's several ways to connect, or we can help you with the change that's going on. So first of all, I do want to tell you, if you haven't ever heard of Joe Woodard before, let me just tell you real quick. Joe has been teaching QuickBooks for over 20 years. Matter of fact, he's one of the top-rated instructor for a conference back in the 2000s. And then what happened was he said, you know what, I want to teach a conference that's Intuit-centric. And so he started Scaling New Heights. This will be our 12th year coming up in June. So Joe has done that. He's authored. He's a business coach, national speaker. He's been recognized in Accounting Today as one of the top 100 influential people. And so we provide, at Woodard World, we provide a lot of education to the accounting world, to the CPAs, to bookkeepers, to consultants. And so that's Joe Woodard. He's our CEO, and that's what we're named after. So there's about 4 or 5 things I want to just hit quickly. And if you need more information on this later, Chris, I'm sure you can get people connected to us. But I'll tell you right now, the easiest thing to do to find out information is actually just go to woodard.com. There's a chat bot at the bottom that is live during business hours, and if not, even sometimes at home, our staff will answer that. So that's the quickest way. Since there's several departments here, that's the quickest way to get a hold of us. So this year's conference, again, it's the 12th year we'll be doing it. We expect over 1,000 people. It's going to be in St. Louis. We change the conference location each year, and so it's June 21st through the 24th. And it has to do with the theme every year of Rise of the Advisor. That's this year's theme. The question that we are entertaining, as you can imagine, is, so is the show going to go on? So I'll address that real quick, which is right now we are planning for the show, no doubt. We have reason to believe that what's going on with the coronavirus is going to get worse before it gets better. But if China or Italy is the case, there's a backside of that slides down. We think that there's a really good chance people want to get out, and so by the time our conference hits, we'll be past this by several weeks or a month or two, and so we're planning for that. That said, of course, we're looking at how are we going to provide the same education to the accounting community, over 150 classes we have this year scheduled. How are we going to do that? So we are entertaining ideas. That is on all of our minds right now. But as of right now, we're going forward. We're preparing as if nothing's happened, the show, but we are monitoring that. And I believe a decision would come down 3 or 4 or 5 weeks from now if something were to change. So of course we're monitoring that as well. So that's the show. Again, woodard.com is where you can go to find out more about anything that I'm talking about today. The second thing is Woodard Alliance. So I'm on calls several times a day where people say, you have Alliance, you have groups, you have a show, you have the Institute. Tell me, I'm kind of getting them confused. So here's the breakdown. Woodard Alliance is a membership, $35 a month, for people of like mind that are in the accounting community. And what you get for that is discounts on software. QBox is a part of that. So you also get online education, and then there's a community forum as well. The main, one of the main parts of the Alliance is that once a month we actually have a 90-minute meeting where we invite Intuit. We have, and so they talk about the latest going on at Intuit. We have an educational piece around typically Excel or something technical. Joe does a thought leadership piece, and then we talk about the agenda. So it's a really good 90-minute monthly webinar to get you caught up with everything that's going on at Woodard World, at Intuit, and around the industry. So that's Woodard Alliance. The next thing is called Woodard Groups. So a Woodard Group is a way for you to connect locally. There's 40 plus, I don't know the exact number, but 40 something groups around the country that meet in person. So a lot of times they'd meet at a Panera Bread, or they'll meet at an office building. But these are QuickBooks Pro Advisors, but it's open to, and I've been to many of them, and it's open to anyone. So there are end users of QuickBooks sometimes that show up for that. This is a way to actually interact with your peers, local peers, so that you can, when you have a peer that you're going through something with, it's really nice to have somebody that you can bounce ideas off of. How do you run your business? How do you solve these problems and so forth? That's perfect. That Woodard Groups makes those connections, help make those connections for you. In addition to that, there's typically training that goes on every time they meet. And so there's a group leader or two group leaders. And again, if you want to know more about that, it doesn't cost anything to go to a Woodard Group meeting. You just show up. But to do that, go to woodard.com, find out more about the groups. If there's a group in your area, there's actually a map on our website that talks about that, and so you can connect there as well. All right, moving on. This represents everyone in this community. So the accountants, the pro advisors, bookkeepers, CPAs, what is going on right now in this community is that the old way of bookkeeping, the traditional way, not the old way, traditional way of bookkeeping is being automated away in many, many areas. Now, there are many areas that are still the same, but many, many areas are automated. A bunch of companies out there doing that, and that's fantastic. So you're going to be able to help your clients make them more efficient. But the job that you do now, or the traditional role of a bookkeeper, to help train you on software, to help reconcile your bank accounts, do month-end close, and so forth. That type of stuff is being invaded by, and we know this, by QuickBooks Live, by KPMG Spark, by H&R Block, I believe just bought a company called Wave. And then there's a handful of others where they are commoditizing this type of product. And you know what? That may not really be a bad idea. So if you if you have a client, a very small client that wants to pay $100, $200, $300 a month for that type of service, that's going to be your competition if that's what you're doing. But the good news is this: never before the last few years has Small Business America been able to hire a CFO and pay a fraction of what they'd pay. So before Small Business America wouldn't have a CFO because, first of all, the price of a CFO, but also they don't really necessarily need one CFO on a $2 million company, right? So what is going on in the industry is that pro advisors and accountants, they're learning not just the bookkeeping tasks and roles, but they're also doing advisory work. And so we call that kind of the path to the boardroom. And so the complete practice that we see, and it's been coming for the last couple of years, is to not just do commodity type of work, but to actually do that work, automate as much of that work as you can, but also sit in the boardroom with your clients, meaning you're going to help them with cash flow projections, you're going to help them operationally, financially, you're going to help them, I'll give you a good example, a lawn care business or a lawn maintenance business, maybe they have 4 or 5 groups that go out and perform, so the front office there says, hey, we need a $100,000 piece of equipment, and it's September or October timeframe. And so an advisor could come in and say, that may not be the best use of your money, and here's why. Let me show you the projections over the winter. So you're still going to have to cover payroll, but you're not going to have as much coming in. Very, very simple example, but a good example of how a small business owner might go and pay $100,000 in cash and then get around to February and say, I'm kind of running short. I should have thought through this type of thing. That's one of thousands and thousands and thousands of decisions that small business owners have to make all the time. And so what if you, as this pro advisor, this business advisor, what we call a certified transformative advisor here at Woodard, what if you could help those type of clients? And so instead of charging by the hour, now you move to your value-based pricing where you may charge $900, $1,000, $1,500, $2,000 a month. And not only do you do the accounting work, but you are going to be able to sit with them once a month or once a quarter and help interpret data from fantastic software programs that we include in our tech stack, and help them grow their client as if you're the CFO. And the good news is they're only paying a fraction of what they would pay a CFO. And so this idea now that you can have a complete practice where you take care of the back office, so the accounting all the way up to the boardroom activities that act as a CFO, that is what we see as the evolution of the accounting industry. So I want to tell you how Woodard can help you achieve that goal. And so path to the boardroom, there's 3 keys here. One, design a firm the way you want it. So the type of clients you want, the type of work you want to do, and there's a little bit more to that. A bookkeeping process. So a lot of times you may learn your bookkeeping processes and procedures from what you've done in the past, but what if there's a better way to do it? And what if there's a modern bookkeeping course you could take to get you up to date on how the modern bookkeeper works? So the bookkeeping process, and then 3, and what is really, really big, is advisory courses. So those are the 3 keys. So past the boardroom, those 3 keys, Woodard Institute is going to help get you there. And here's how that's going to happen. At the Woodard Institute, I've divided it up into 3 types, but it's really 2 types. The first 2, I would say, these are courses for you. And the third one, under advisory, I'd say these are courses for your client, or how you can work with your client. So under the first one, Woodard Institute started a few years ago, and we had Practice Development 101, 102, 103, 104, and 105. And the totality of those, you were certified, you went through in a year. What we have learned from that is that we need to pare that down to 3 courses. We're offering them once a quarter, once we revamp, which this will happen next year. And then so that you can go through the practice and professional development courses in 1 year. So that's a change, but that's one thing that we're going to offer. We're going to tweak, we're going to revamp it, and then we'll offer that next year, starting next year. The second part of your practice is the bookkeeping processes and systems that I just referred to. So we have one course that's starting in Q3, so that'll start in July of this year, called Future Ready Bookkeeper. And that will be a 10-week course that helps you automate so you can scale your practice, save more time when you're doing that type of work. There's actually a product that we have that's been in pilot since last year. We use it internally. It's the Woodard Bookkeeping System. We call it Stream internally. I don't know what the ultimate name will be for that product. But that product is a dashboard where you can load up all of your clients, and everything you do for your clients every month is broken down into a checklist. So take month-end closing, for example. There's 63 tasks to do for month-end closing for a client. We've already designed those tasks. We've put them into our bookkeeping system, and you check that off. Here's a few things that you can do, though. If there's some tasks that you want to assign to somebody else in the company, you can do that. Just click a button, assign it to somebody else in the company. If you want to assign some tasks to our shared services department, you can do that. For 21 bucks an hour, you can click those tasks, send them over, come in the next day, and they're done. For the most part, the next day, and they're done. In our same example here, if we're doing month-end close and there's 63 tasks, maybe you, as the owner, want to take the first 2 because it has to do with gathering some documents, and the last one, which is a review process. But all the ones in the middle, you can send over to shared services. That is taken care of. It comes back to you. You see all the initials of everybody that's taken care of those tasks, and then you can review it. So it's going to be a fantastic product. You pay one price, and you can have as many clients on there as you want, and you can run your bookkeeping practice from basically a control panel. And so it's fantastic. It's the new way to do it. It's going to save a ton of time. Shared services, I think I'd mentioned 21 bucks an hour. It's not, they don't take a break. There's no holidays, so you only pay for the time that they're working on the client file. So it's a fantastic way. And the reason I put that here under the processes and system is because you have to take Future Ready Bookkeeper course before you start using Stream, the system, and because we are going to train you on how to use it, and the tech stack that's included. So receiptbankbill.com and some others that are included in that product we train you on that so that you start already knowing how to use the product. So the first two right here again those are the two things that we did help you with your practice. The other side of this is advisory. And so we've been teaching a few of these courses. Last year I think we taught operational, financial, maybe one other one. But for Q2, which starts in April, so 1 month from now, I think it's April 20th and April 22nd, we are offering operational and financial courses. The operational course, of course, is going to help you learn a method to help your clients with solving their operational problems. Financial, same way, help you learn how you can sit in the boardroom with your clients and help interpret the data so that you can really help them make good decisions. The other advisory courses will be rolled out. Another one will be rolled out. As a matter of fact, I think that is the next slide. But before I get there, let me just say these 3 points right here roll up into the one goal, which is now you become a business advisor or CFO to your SMB clients, right? You become that certified transformative advisor, and we can help you get there. So just again, well, actually, I'll go there now. This is what we see for now. This is kind of on the our development calendar. So starting in April of this year, these two courses, you can sign up today for those, operational and financial. Starting Q3, we're going to offer those two again, as well as the Future Ready Bookkeeper course I spoke about, and then a new course called Personal Productivity. Actually, Joe Woodard's teaching that course. Operational, by the way, is being taught by Peter Hickey. He has a product called Mouse. Financial is taught by a gentleman named Fred Parrish. He has a product called the Profit Beacon. So we are and as a matter of fact, Peter Hickey's from Australia. So we take international, the best of the best that know what they're doing. They teach the class. Now they have a product that they use as the example in their class, but they are the best of the best. Joe Woodard's teaching personal productivity. We have some other key personnel that will be teaching other courses, again, starting in Q4. You can see that we've added even more courses there. And then in 2021, we've got slated now 4 additional courses. And if you look at the key below, the advisory courses are the ones that are for your client. So they're in the gray here. And then the practice development or the courses for you, they're in the orangish, I would say, color for that. So so those are the courses that we have. That's the Woodard Institute in a whole. The next question we always get is how much. For a while, we've been charging $5.95 a month for 3 months. So these courses are 10 to 12 weeks long. Most of them are 10 weeks long. So it is really most of 3 months. So the way you've been paying is $5.95. We just now got approved an annual membership. The annual membership, $2.95 a month for 12 months. But it allows you to take 3 courses in that year. Okay, and the reason we say 3 courses is because Q1 we're going to offer maybe 1 course. Q2, 3, and 4 is when we do the bulk of our course, and that's because of tax season. So Joe Woodard may teach a course in Q1, but other than that, the bulk of our courses are Q2, 3, and 4. So an annual membership, if you add up the $2.95 a month, is just slightly less than 2 full classes, but you get 3. So you spread out the payment longer, but you basically get an $1,800 course rolled in for nothing. But you also get something we call ACT. So ACT was developed because 3 years ago when we started the Woodard Institute, first class went through. There's a lot of data, a lot of stuff that goes on when you're transforming your whole practice. What happened when they graduated is they said, we're still working on this transformation of our practice. We're putting some of these concepts into practice. We would like to kind of keep going. And they bonded with their other classmates in the class over that year. So we started a program called ACT. So for $195 a month, we still had Patricia Hendricks, who runs Woodard Institute. She would meet with the groups, and they would still continue to work on their businesses, building out their businesses the way they want that. So if you're ever not in a course, so let's say you only took 2 courses with an annual membership because you wanted to put the brakes on and start implementing that and work on that more, you can join the ACT for free. That's all a part of it. So really, the annual membership I like a lot because it allows you to, most people will take at least 2 courses, so you already paid for it, but it gives you the free course if you want it. It gives you the ACT and allows you to spread that out over 12 months. I think that here's my information, Chris. I think you can send this out as well. But I will say this, and I've kind of mentioned it before. Since 1999 working for Lacerte, and I really in 2000 I started working on the Intuit side with QuickBooks ProAdvisor. So basically since the beginning of the ProAdvisor program, I've been working with ProAdvisors. I worked for ProAdvisor, I worked for a company that integrates with QuickBooks, and then now I work with Joe. So for all these 20 years, pretty much been working with the same group of people. Fantastic. But this has gotten me so excited that I stopped working with the trade show floor and started helping Joe with the Institute, because I can see that the accounting industry is changing, and it's not, you don't want to scare people and say if you don't keep up, you're going to get left behind. It's not that. It's that look what you're running towards. Many people I talk to, the vast majority of people I talk to, excuse me, they want to do advisory work, but it's hard unless they've come from a place where they've done it before and then implemented it in their practice. When they spin up a practice, it's very difficult. So now they have a way, because this stuff isn't taught in colleges. There's very few places I think this stuff could be taught. We've packaged it all together, and you can revamp your firm. You can learn advisory through the courses that we have, and you can start using that immediately. As a matter of fact, in both of those advisory courses that will launch next month, you use your own client as the sample. So as you go through the process, you plug in your client halfway through and you start working with your client. So it's not even just theoretical. You're actually using what you're learning when you're going through the courses. So I think it's fantastic. I'm excited, and I think the future here of becoming the more complete, as I say, so back office to the boardroom, people are excited about it. They want to do that type of work, and we're here to help people, achieve that dream.
Excellent. Thank you, Jeff. And I think that is more and more, you're just seeing that, like you said. I mean, as people get, kind of frustrated with QuickBooks Live and what, you mentioned some of the others are doing with, this provides an excellent way for them to be that total advisor, providing those bookkeeping services and really doing everything for their client by having someone that's behind them that's very reasonably priced that gives them those same services so they can compete. So.
Yeah, I agree. Yep, I agree.
Yeah. So, and as Jeff mentioned also, by the way, we will send a follow-up email tomorrow. Jeff's contact information is right there, but we're going to also send you a follow-up email as well. So you'll be able to reach both Jeff and Mike if you have any additional questions. We did have a question, by the way, too, Jeff, that came in. Someone was asking, do you have a link to the Woodard? And you can reply after if you like. Do you have a link to the Woodard Institute's Advisory Certification Program? Exploration meeting tomorrow. Is there a way to sign up for that? Same thing, or from the website? So
I do. So you can go to woodard.com, and then under, I think, coaching, you can find the institute. Here's what I would say. Today, in case you're listening to this recorded, today it's 4:30 on March 18th. This annual membership was a hit because we kind of tested it on a few people. The problem is it's so new. It just got approved recently that I was hoping that the page would be built out by the time that I got on this call today. And right before the call I checked, and it's not. Some of it's there, but it's not totally. So it's going to be another 24, 48 hours. So if you want to buy a la carte, if you want to just try a course, the $5.95 for 3 months, you can do that right now. You can sign up right now. If you want to sign up for the annual membership at $2.95 a month, hold off for a few days. If you go, as a matter of fact, if you give your name to Chris, I'm sure Chris will forward it to me, but I will just send you the link. It takes 5 minutes to sign up. The only thing you have to do is pick the course you want. And again, right now there's going to be, you're not going to be able to catch up to our development. There's 2 courses now. There'll be 4 in Q3, more in Q4, and then more in 2021. So you're not going to speed past our development process. But it will be another, I would say, 48 hours before we get the link live. to sign up for the annual membership.
So that was the answer to your question. So you can purchase the a la carte classes now, but the remainder, some of the things Jeff talked about, will be available within the next 24 to 48 hours. Or you can just send me your contact information or Jeff directly, and he'll make sure he'll let you know about it when it's available. And Larissa is saying she found the link. So
oh, perfect.
So that's good. Awesome. So thank you very much again, Jeff, and
Sure.
Likewise, it's always a pleasure. And it's funny, we only get. See, Jeff, I'm a California guy. Jeff's out there in Indiana, and so although he knows I went and visited my son and his wife, and I was like a couple hours north of him, but
I even
usually
said
we
I'd
only
meet
see
you
each other at
halfway.
shows. I know, but yeah, but as Californians, we got off the plane in Chicago, and it was like 5 degrees, and said, "Okay, this is not for us." So anyway, but I always look forward to talking to you at the shows and so on. And QBox has already booked their spot for the upcoming scaling. I'm very much expecting it to happen. I do believe this is going to be on the other side of it more than anything. So, but we're all taking life day by day these days. So we'll see what happens between now and then. So anyway,
right.
So thank you again, Jeff. And I'm going to go ahead and turn the floor over to Mike at this point. Mike's been patiently waiting, and again, I'm stuck on that surfing thing. My mind's already like over at Santa Cruz out in the ocean. Haven't read that you used to teach surfing. So, but anyways, Mike's here on behalf of AP Technology, and he's going to talk about the services and what they have available. So, Mike, I'm going to give you the floor, and I look forward to hearing what you have to share. Thank you.
Thanks, Chris. And Allison for having us, and Jeff also for the information. Looks like we have some good things on offer. I'm from a family of accountants, CPAs, so grandpa, dad, brothers, others, and it's infinitely important to offer the additional services above and beyond what used to traditionally be offered as a CPA or an accountant. So the advisory practice is a real one, and thanks for educating on it so that people can be effective out there. So I'm going to talk about AP Technology, and I want to just start by talking about right now and what's going on. Remote capabilities are increasingly important for obvious reasons right now with what's going on. We offer remote check issuance and signing out of any application, any accounting application. So QuickBooks Online, we have a really good one. You can print and mail. You make check decisions, have us print and mail your checks. That's available at checkrun.com. And that's increasingly important to people out there in the world right now. Our company, AP Technology, introduced the first secure laser check printing system for businesses in 1991. So I'm going to show you the 9th version of that, but please let us know if any check signing or issuance opportunities come up over the next couple of days, over the next couple of months. We're helping people do that a lot, get remote workstations set up on their networks. So we have network-capable solutions, desktop-capable solutions, as well as cloud. I know this is a desktop time. Obviously, that network capability is getting really good, let's say. We used to get suckered into becoming people's networking team so that they could run our check issuance application. Everyone's getting really good at setting up secure networks for their people to keep doing business remotely. So just want you to know that we're here to solve those types of problems. Over the years, AP Technology has pioneered many security and operational innovations that became features in other applications out there. But as far as check payments go, the importance of providing the service to our clients is very, very much our priority. We build check issuance solutions for Bank of America, Navy Federal, some of the top governments. The state of California does a lot of check payments, official check payments through our systems. So we would just want to offer the security of a company processing 40 billion in payments for large institutions, governments, and businesses of all size at this point in time. So please do let us know if you're trying to solve any problems that have to do with cutting checks. And as Chris stated at the beginning of the call, they're relevant still, and they were before this. Many are going to electronic payments such as ACH. Many will continue to do checks. In a recent survey conducted by the AFP indicated that 51% of businesses pay by business to business by traditional check. And that actually climbed back up after passing that a few years ago. And it's just for a lot of reasons: control of cash flows, the tangible item there, as well as the control of the signature. So we really emphasize the signature and the issuance of the check through workflows and secure digital means in order to achieve signatures. With that all said, I'm going to go ahead and share my screen and go ahead and start with secure check information. So as I stated at the beginning of this call, our software, Secure Check, Check Run, as well as their other solutions are compatible with check data coming from just about any accounting application. So your decisions have been made. We're going to give you the opportunity to do a check outline. Within that check outline, many people say, I only want to do the signature, and that's fine. If you want to do more or less than that, it's completely fine. Our softwares will give you the opportunity to do as many check overlays as required. That's your checking account and routing number, maybe even checks that are drawing upon the same checking account and routing number that need to look differently. We give you the opportunity to do this in a really easy to use overlay editor. Our tech support team is fully available in these times and all times to support you in setting these up, but train you on how to do these things on your own, so that in the future, if you need anything done, you're able to just dive in and make edits to these things. If you experience check fraud, the first thing the bank's going to tell you to do is consider changing your checking account and routing number. Maybe a good thing to do, you just pop into the overlay editor and change it. Or maybe you're expanding as a company or needing to do an additional check. It's no longer ordering a box of check stock paper with a specific microline and the things that you need on it. It's also much more secure than doing that. The paper coming to you with check information on it is a security risk for obvious reasons. They're partially given the information that they would need to become successful in check fraud. The other thing is it's expensive. If you're doing this with our software, the total check overlay, you're able to print your microline, the magnetic ink character recognition line at the bottom there. That should have the correct signal strength and position based on your bank's specific requirements, so that the banking institution as a whole can keep your checks safe. We give you the opportunity to do that. Many people out there will say, we've always ordered pre-printed check stock and we have a bunch of boxes of it to use up. That's fine. We can tune up or tune down your graphics as needed. So your logo, your corporate address, bank address, routing number, microline. Oftentimes this would be printed to blank check stock, but like I said, you don't necessarily need to print to blank check stock. But most people try to evolve there if they can, because it's infinitely cheaper and more secure than printing to pre-printed check stock with your checking account and routing number, next check number on it. Next check number, I don't know if anyone's ever hit this headache where you get a paper jam and then you got stuck calling, your source to overnight one check piece of paper to get you back on track. Blank check stock's the intention there. So blank check stock, your check data, your accounting decisions, your payment decisions there on the right-hand side coming out of any accounting application. Check outline is what we're creating in the middle with our software. And this is an example of a secure check printed check. So we've got great logic within our software to audit the fields that you'd think would need to be audited, such as payee, dollar amount, who did we pay, Acme Widgets of America, who did we pay on this date. We've also got opportunity to audit beyond what is on the check. So if there's a voucher number or a claim number or additional reference information that's coming out of your accounting application with the check decision, our software can audit that as well, even if it's muted and not printed onto the face of your check. I mentioned doing check systems for Bank of America and Navy Federal and many governments throughout the United States, but hospital systems, insurance, many larger organizations can use something like this, but a lot of small businesses can too. And we made it scalable, we made it affordable for everyone, but then we backtracked the best of the things that we were doing for our big bank clients and our big institute clients into our software for everyone. And some of those things are reverse font box or micro font box, similar to what you'd see on a cashier's check. Pay only this amount, or check void if amount different than above. watermark a diagonally printed payee and dollar amount across each individual check. So that makes the check face nearly impossible to successfully manipulate. You've got diagonally printed watermark behind payee, their logo, signature, etc. And it's specific to each check. So it's saying the payee, Acme Witches of America, 300906.96 on it. So good security features. And again, we want to make your presentation as good as possible. These are your outbound payments, so we want to make your payments look great, but then also make them as secure as possible. And then you notice that signature there, Betty Jones. Betty Jones' signature is coming down with the total graphic. And like I said, a lot of people right now over the last few days are calling us and say, hey, we just need to get our remote check signature option up and running. And that's great. We can do that. We can do that quickly. We can do it on their network, on the workstations of their accounting people and their staff, wherever they are that need to participate in the check decisions. And when these checks are going through, you're given the opportunity to do a lot of things. There's intelligent logic to be basically control the release of different parts of the graphics. You can lock out or engage any specific user in any part of the check issuance process that they should participate in. So maybe the staff accountant should make the check decisions, whereas you used to print them and take them for a signature to the president who's now working remotely. Email notification goes to the president. The president makes the check decision on the check and or batch, and it would include the signature. That first person might not be able ever to release a check down and out through the printer, or they could be able to get the checks accomplished that were under $5,000. You can really picture and imagine what might be relevant for your users, but lock out user permissions as needed and then assign supervisors to follow an appropriate workflow approval path since the signature is coming down. And that's something that in the last few days we're seeing just kind of explode, and it's for obvious reasons, so keep us posted if you need that. The other thing that I mentioned are the auditable fields. So we're able to audit above and beyond what your check data is here. The nice thing about having a forms editor is you can do this for other documents that need data mass populated through a form that you can create and edit on your own. So we have the opportunity to do W-2s, 1099s, invoices, purchase orders, report cards, transcripts, or any other form with our software. And the kind of the main thing that I just want to backtrack and emphasize here is the signatures. And just right now, this remote situation has a lot of people trying to figure this out. I think that it would be smart for me to emphasize our tech support team. We're entirely set up on site to maintain servers and make sure things are running smoothly for our big bank customers, and that goes down to everyone else. This is the same technology platforms, inventions that are being used by the institutions that need to continue to operate in a good and effective way, and our tech support team is going to do that. We've got a real easy to use and really easy to understand. Get out of this presentation here. I'll just click through a couple of brochures real quick. But Easy Signer Direct, this is a software that is set up and you can run on any individual workstation. So this is not a network capable solution. This is your workstation. You're the person that needs to be able to sign checks, and secure signing made easy. This is a one-pass system. We're going to go ahead and give you the opportunity to sign the check and route to the printer. We're going to give you enhanced security by including a secure watermark along with a timestamp for when the check was approved. And this is just accomplishing the check signature. Secure Check 9 is also locally installed. It's not a cloud platform, but this is your network capable solution. So you can kind of picture there. Whoop, jump down to the bottom there. Process checks securely and remotely within your network. Oftentimes the central piece will be run on a server as the host. It can actually run on a PC or individual workstation as a host. The host is where you set up the user permissions, overlay editor, where you go in and you make changes to the check face and what you need the check to accomplish, and also where you assign which user can do which part of the check issuance process, and define your workflow approvals. So again, if you need the email notification, maybe workstation 1 is your payroll person, and workstation 2 is your CEO who is working remote. Person number 1 at this workstation is going to hit print. Our software is printer driver driven, so it's going to exist en route to the printer. It's always going to think that the checks were processed and printed. If need be, and you go through the decision process and you decline a payment or decline a check, you do have to go back to your accounting application and kind of let it know that it didn't actually occur. But the issuance process right there is where you're going to go ahead and submit the payments. The host is going to, based on dollar amount or all of them, determine whether or not a supervisor is needed. If not, it's going to shoot the print job to the designated printer. And it's going to also flag the correct overlay. So someone in human resources doing HR checks or payroll is not going to be, because of the admin, the host portal, is not going to be able to accidentally cut AP checks or charitable giving checks. They're going to be kind of locked into the overlay or overlays that they need, and there can be items in the check data that flag the correct overlay. So maybe that person does have a couple checks that they could do. We would get it so that the check data would actually flag the correct overlay and then shoot the correct overlay down to the printer, accomplishing your total printed checks. When the supervisor is involved, our notifications aren't via text message, they're email notifications. The other product I mentioned at the beginning of the call, Check Run for QuickBooks Online, I think that one does text and email, but for traditional legacy products, we're going to have an email notification, but simply put, that's going to email person at workstation 2, the supervisor, to next opportunity, log in. They'll need to present their correct login credentials and then make the correct decision on the check or batch. The other kind of features that I'll run through are any accounting system, so check decisions coming out of any accounting system, remote capabilities, Windows 10 backward compatible to 7, new servers and old servers as well, Server 2019 backward compatible to 2008. Next generation security, multi-layer encryption. We use the highest encryption allowed by the FBI in all of our products. Drawing a blank on what it is off the top of my head from the home office. Usually have it on a post-it at the desk. But manual check opportunity. This is something that comes up if your accounting system's down, or if you're just wanting to have this option. You can have a manual check module for each individual user that you choose, where they can open a manual check module, enter today's date, Chris-wise, $500 services rendered, and hit print, even if the accounting application is down and not available, or if it's just something that you want available in that way. Secure image archive. If you're doing your checks out of our software, secure check software, there's a PDF timestamp image available after the checks are printed for everything that you print. So that's a good thing for auditors. If check fraud has occurred, we've got an exact PDF with timestamp showing what it was as it left the printer. And the images are suitable for mobile capture and deposit, so easy to deposit with your phone. They're Check 21 compliant. Check 21 compliant gives you the opportunity to take a picture of your check with your phone and deposit that way rather than bringing it in.
Hey, Mike, can I ask you one thing? We're frozen on the one frame. I don't know in PowerPoint if you want us to view the slideshow, because someone just commented it doesn't appear to be advancing for us on the main screen. So
thank you for giving it. Yeah, thanks for giving me a heads up. Let me see what's going on here. Try to X out of that. Thanks, Chris, as well as the participant that let me know.
You got it, man.
So I'm going to dive back knowing that you didn't see anything that I just talked about. Easy Signer Direct, this is for your one PC. If you need check signing capability, check approval capability. And it talks about the security features. There's the signature watermark, timestamp, etc. that we just talked through. And then Secure Check is our kind of more robust system, but sometimes people just use it for signatures. But it's the one that can print the total check overlay, total check graphics. And this is your network. And this is where I was saying that central host piece is oftentimes a server, but it doesn't need to be. Workstation 1, Workstation 2, and then your designated print locations. Email notifications going to guide any workflow approval. And another thing is I've mentioned the tech support team a couple of times. Anyone that's running our software, this is kind of what you want to know in terms of delivery, returns and allowances, maintenance plans, and support, technical support. So this is something that any user gets set up with, and we make sure they know where to reach our team. But this is just infinitely important with checks or any software, as checks are time sensitive. We don't want you to be left hanging if needing to do payroll and experience any trouble with any of our software. So we've built a reputation of being reliable to the point where, like mentioned, many big institutions and governments are trusting us to do this for them at this point in time. In a general sense, I have not touched on an area that I'll just speak about for a second, and it's positive pay. Positive pay is the opportunity to transmit to your bank your check information at the time that your checks are printed. It is the #1 best and first thing that you should do if you're at all worried about check fraud. As soon as you print your checks and the transmission is received by your bank, the liability for each and every check within the batch or in that transmission is shifted to the bank. So we have a lot of case studies referencing our product called Secure Pay. It's our version of positive pay software. You set it up on your machine while you're printing checks. It's going to capture the check data, encrypt it to the specific file format that your bank needs to, and transmit. That's taking a lot of legwork off an accounting team, but it's also keeping your checks secure, as secure as possible. If someone brings a check in that you printed and you're participating in positive pay, and this is why the bank is so heavily and relying and encouraging this, is that they will walk into a banking institution that knows what that check should be. Any legitimate check cashing institution throughout the United States and Canada has received what that check should be, the dollar amount, the payee, who is it to, date, etc. And if it's not that, or if there's a couple extra zeros, the person will hopefully be grabbed and arrested, and you don't have to worry about it. That's kind of the peace of mind. Another thing is Bank of America and a lot of other institutions will say you're fine to start doing checks without it, but if you run into check fraud, they're going to immediately recommend it. And I have a close friend that runs commercial glass and restaurant supply for people throughout Florida, businesses and top hotels and restaurants. And he was told by Bank of America after the second time experiencing check fraud that he has to find a new bank if he doesn't institute positive pay immediately. So it's a good thing to do after you're forced to. It's a good thing to do before you're forced to, and it's something that I just want to know want everybody on the call to know about if they had not yet, because that's what we're here to do, is try to keep your checks and your check payments as secure as possible. And with that said, I'll throw it back to Chris. Okay.
Yeah, thank you very much, Mike. I think now, in addition to everything going on with virus, people are very concerned about security and payment security. So I think this is a fantastic option. Some of the things you described really resonate with things I've heard from, organizations I've been connected with here in addition to clients. So again, we'll make sure to send information regarding what both Jeff shared today and also what Mike shared by email tomorrow to everyone, so you'll know how to access those folks and those resources if necessary. And but otherwise, a couple of housekeeping things. Thank you again, Jeff and Mike, by the way. Excellent job today. I appreciate both of you joining us. A couple of housekeeping things. It just so happens that the third Wednesday of next month lands on April 15th, which I know, even with all the virus nuttiness, that's a significant day. So we've actually decided to postpone and have our next desktop time in the month of May. So we'll get you more information about who will be our guest host and guest vendor. So we'll have that posted on our website in the next week or so. But again, just want to thank all of you for joining us today. We know it's an interesting time in our country right now, and know all of us just kind of have to do our part to help our fellow man and our community, and definitely keep an eye on folks that are maybe aren't, you know, there's a range. I mean, a lot of people talk about senior folks and checking in on them, which I think is very important, but also even those that are just living, you know, paycheck to paycheck, have an hourly type job that maybe is cut off now. I mean, the government's talking about a lot of things to help people, but as I talked with Hector yesterday, for many it's not going to come soon enough. So this is a great time for all of us to really extend a hand to people, to help out as best we can. And you know what? It's funny. I know all of you are going to be saying, gosh, I sure wish I could get a few-week vacation, and here you are working from home. So make the most of it, do what you got to do, but also make the most of that time with your family and friends. So anyways, that's my commentary, and I'm sticking to it. So anyways, thank you again, Jeff. Thank you so much, Mike, both of you for joining us today. Thank you, as always, to Allison for producing us in the background. We look forward to seeing you back in the month of May, and best wishes to all of you during tax season, during virus season, and we'll look forward to talking to you again in a couple of months. So take care, have a great rest of your day, and we'll talk to you soon. Thanks again.
Thanks, Chris.